Hello there. It's time for issue 3 in the Fortnite and Marvel crossover comic book series, The Zero War. This is the series in which we break down the core plot and highlight the important lore elements and talking points about Fortnite. I'll link the full series of videos if you're joining us late. My creator code is ADAMARU, and as always, throwing the video a like helps out a lot. Anyway, let's do this. Zero War, issue 3. Last month, we left Wolverine and co fighting dinosaur beings in Wakanda's Serpent Valley, as a second unit of heroes travelled to the moon to locate the mech and its pilot, who crash-landed there back in 2019. And that's where we'll begin today. Foundation, Scientist and Iron Man have found the Paradigm. She's been here for years without food or water, but she's okay. Her armour kept her body in stasis, kinda like when animals hibernate over harsh winters. In fact, she's not the first member of the Seven to be trapped safely in their suit. The Foundation once sat motionless at the bottom of a river when he fell through the 0 point and into the DC universe. But I digress. Tony Stark attempts to introduce himself to the Paradigm, but the Foundation cuts him off. It doesn't matter. WWE fans will know that line was made famous by The Rock in his wrestling days, and The Rock plays the Foundation.
It doesn't matter how you're doing. It doesn't matter how you feel. It doesn't matter what your sign says.
He believes the Paradigm is a traitor to the Seven for helping the Imagined Order build and pilot the mech back in Chapter 1, and talks about executing her on the spot. Yikes. Standing to her feet, the Paradigm states everything he said is wrong and points out the IO plan to create a doomsday machine to eliminate the Devourer before it could reach the 0 point. The problem was, that would annihilate everyone on the island. The Imagined Order only care about the 0 point. So the Paradigm made a deal. To escape her prison, she must pilot the mech, saving the 0 point and saving every life of every looper on the island. And then she escaped into space. Paradigm tells us her homeworld makes her uniquely qualified to pilot mechs, if you're wondering why she's in the mech hot seat. Instantly, the Scientist believes the Paradigm, and Tony Stark seems to like her too, so the Foundation is forced to yield on this one. The group look at the remains of the mech, and Paradigm says powering this thing up will take forever. Luckily, we've already got a plan, and Tony tells the Paradigm about the other group of heroes searching for the crystallized piece of the 0 point right now. Over in Reality 616, Wolverine, Spider-Man, Jones, the Imagined and Shuri are battling dinosaurs and ninjas, and bonding with each other by demeaning Spider-Man, Earth's stockiest hero. Spider-Man brings up his rule to never kill, and that heroes need to hold themselves to a higher standard. To which Wolverine continues slicing up ninjas, I never claimed to be a hero. Eventually, a hybrid is caught and interrogations begin. The thing is, nobody can speak Lizard Man. Not even Jones, who officially speaks 342,000 languages, although he admits he could probably figure out this language in a week. But we don't have that long, bro. Meanwhile, Wolverine is preparing Triceratops for dinner. As night falls, the group camp for the night and a conversation about life begins. Wolverine opens up to the Imagined, stating he's almost 200 years old. And also, he instinctively knows the Imagined is an older being too. We get more important IO lore now as the Imagined explains her and her sister were genetically modified by their own father before they were even born. And then the bombshell we've all been waiting for. Her father is Geno. Wolverine is shooketh? Just look at that face. Like most bad guys, he doesn't know he's the bad guy. Geno simply wants to create the perfect civilization, the ultimate Imagined Order, which is also what he names his kids, which is a bit weird if you ask me. The Imagined tells us that Geno is immortal, and so are all his children, and due to that long life, his views on perfection became an obsession. Eventually, he sent his kids into the loop, wiping their memories and giving them 22 minutes to escape. Geno bet that his children are so perfect they would be the first to ever escape the loop. But he was wrong. They did escape, but they were not the first. That title goes to the Renegade Wader. Geno's attempt to make the perfect offspring failed, and he replaced both the Imagined and the Order. One of the first times a snapshot was created. As we all know, talking about how terrible our parents are makes everyone horny, and the Imagined takes the opportunity to give Wolverine open mouth surgery with extra tongue. We'll leave them to it. In another panel, Shuri stops Peter from walking in on Wolverine and the Imagined. That could have been really awkward. Oh, and if you're wondering, during all this time, Jones and Shuri are bonding through a conversation about the Omniverse. Remember in the first issue where Agent Jones visited his office to grab a photo? Well, we now know what was on it. It's a picture of his wife and kids. And things get a bit heavy now. Everyone in that photograph is dead. They're all gone. Spider-Man assumes they were killed by the Imagined Order, but Jonesy quickly shoots down that theory. The Imagined Order protected them. They died of old age. And here's another bombshell. Jones is also immortal. He slowly climbed the ranks of IO and became an indispensable member of the Imagined Order. When he asked to leave to grow old with his family, he was coerced to stay with threats against his homeworld. In other words, if he stayed in the job, his grandkids, his great-grandkids, and all descendants would be safe and protected. He was IO for life. It was only when the Imagined Order began threatening all realities. That was Jonesy's moment to stand up and fight back. So the scene where he switches allegiances is far more important than we know. He's doing it for his own homeworld and family too. We cut back to Wolverine and the Imagined, and they finished their sexy time. They chat about smashing Geno's face in, and then they go back to more sexy time. Let's leave them there. The following day, the hunt for the Zero Shard continues, and instantly a new fight begins. A Stegron arrives, the guy Spider-Man name-dropped last issue, and a new band of Dino dudes arrive to fight with him. Instantly, this goes one step higher as another DC supervillain is here. This chap is the High Evolutionary. He's claimed the 0-point shard and plans to use it for, well, you've guessed it, evolution. His whole deal is finding ways to take mankind and other Earth species to the next plane of existence. And just like Geno, that obsession went too far, and the High Evolutionary began creating his own planets like Counter-Earth, a place where he could artificially accelerate the evolution of all species. But this is a different timeline, so let's see what happens. And his real name is Herbert. Good old Herbert. Before we arrived, the High Evolutionary has already combined the 0-point shard with Antarctic Vibranium. I admit I had to do a little research on this one. It turns out Antarctic Vibranium is like an anti-metal, the opposite of standard vibranium. It vibrates, causing any other metal it touches to weaken and liquefy. And as Shuri's weapons are vibranium, if they strike Arctic Vibranium, it is said that both metals will shatter instantly. Hopefully we'll get to see that. Suddenly, driven by her hatred of perfected genetics, the Imagined lunges at Herbert. But this only acts to annoy him. A battle like no other kicks off, and let's be honest, if someone showed you this in 2017 and said it was Fortnite, you'd think they were insane. During the battle, Spider-Man slips away and attempts to stealth into the vault to grab the 0-point shard. But plot twist, someone beat him to it. It's Dr. Doom. He used the good guys as a diversion and now has possession of the 0-point shard contained within Arctic Vibranium. Doom portals away quickly, leaving behind more hybrid ninjas to fight. And another plot twist, the battle outside ends a few minutes later and both sides are chatting to each other. The High Evolutionary expected Dr. Doom to steal the shard and knows that he's on his way to Reality Zero. Dr. Doom is coming to the island. The Imagined asks Herbert to help them fight Doom, but he declines. His time with the 0-point has taught him a great deal about the future of his world, and he chooses to stay behind to protect Earth rather than entering the multiverse. His final words are chilling. He has seen the end of not only our reality, but all realities. And that's where we stand after 3 issues of the Zero War. I'm Adam, thank you very much for your time. If you've stayed this long, here's a bunch of legends who used my code. It makes videos like this possible. I'll see you next time.